I was first diagnosed with PCOS about 9 years ago. It was shortly a couple of months before I got married, actually. I had just finished a really long work trip and I realized that my period was really wonky, so I went to see my GP and she asked me a couple of questions and she said, hey, you know what? I think you might have PCOS. So I'm gonna write you a letter. You're gonna go see a gynae and you're gonna, figure out if you do have it. And turns out that I did. And it was devastating, I guess, because the first thing that the GP told me, hey, you might have PCOS and you might have trouble getting pregnant. And that was it. So I didn't know what it meant. Like, I didn't know if it was just me being infertile or there's something wrong with me. And then when I went to see the gynae, she scanned me, she showed me my ovaries and whatnot. But she also told me not to worry because it's not a big deal. You can get pregnant and whatsoever. So I told then fiance that, hey, I kind of found out that I had this and you can back out from marrying me right now if you want to because of the possibility of me not being able to get pregnant. Alhamdulillah, he said, no way, Jose, and that he was gonna stay, that it didn't matter, and it has been a journey for me since then. So it's difficult because you're kind of like being hit by this news that there's something wrong with you. So yeah, it's been about 9 years since then. It felt like for a split second my world was black. I couldn't really comprehend what it meant yet, but I knew it was something big, and at that point I felt like, damn, like I felt like I've lost a little control of my body, right? But then if I tell my fiance, there's a big chance that I'm gonna lose him too. So that was nerve-wracking. Sorry. I've been given medication, like metformin, and to be honest, I think maybe that is what led me to having a surprise pregnancy last year. Trying to get pregnant on PCOS is definitely an emotional roller coaster. I think every other woman out there who has been trying to conceive on PCOS would agree that you have a stack of pregnancy tests at home, you have a stack of your ovulation kits at home, right? And for me personally, my period was irregular, where the cramps were so bad that I was just crawling on the floor and just in and out of the toilet because it was so painful and I didn't know what was going on. So when I finally had the miscarriage, I still didn't think that it was what it was. We still had to go to see the doctor, tell him what happened, run all the tests and whatnot. But before going to the doctor, when he finally confirmed that, yes, you were pregnant, at first I was fine. And then it kind of settled in like, okay, I was pregnant, so yay, I can get pregnant. But then after that, I just started crying because I couldn't sustain the pregnancy. So when I started thinking about, wow, I couldn't sustain the pregnancy, I kind of went spiraling down this dark hole of like, I'm so useless. I can't even take care of a pregnancy. I can't even take care of my own baby. And it was something I needed to to digest, and finally told my family. It felt better to say it, it felt nicer to have that support. I wanted a pregnancy so much, but when I was pregnant, I didn't even notice it until I lost it. That made me sad, but it also made me more attentive to my body, taking note of every little change that came across me. So I would say it was a horrible thing to have happened, but I think I got more out of it than I expected that I would. Before getting married, with my fiance, we'd always talk about what kind of life we were gonna lead, what kind of, adventures we were gonna have. But once I was diagnosed with PCOS and then, we got married, and as I dived more into PCOS and what it was and what I could do and the lifestyle changes that I needed to do, I kind of roped him in with me. And, you know, suddenly his life needed to follow mine. I felt guilty because maybe I was kind of like holding him back from certain things, or, you know, making him regret. My husband and I have this thing called 196 before 66. So what that is essentially is that we will be traveling to 196 countries before we hit 66 years old. But when PCOS came around, and, you know, it meant working on my fertility, working on other aspects of my life, it felt like that delayed, or that made it, you know, we have to focus on this. It's like treatment after treatment. You know, we have to make sure we're in the country to see the doctor and things like that. So yeah, I felt guilty. I felt like maybe I'm taking over his life, you know? But I think when you're married to each other, you're kind of in it for life. So I'm just grateful that he's there to support me, and you know, he's 100% about it. I felt like with first, you know, with PCOS, I felt like I've lost a huge chunk of control over my body. Having the doctor tell you in your early 30s that you have diabetes, man, nobody wants to hear that, you know? I mean, I didn't want to hear that about myself. You know, I've always thought, hey, you know, I'm doing a great job. You know, I don't take a lot of sugar. You know, I'm not a sweet tooth and stuff like that. And then for them to come out and tell me, hey, no, you do have diabetes. You know, and it's, you know, most probably because of your PCOS. It felt somewhat it felt somewhat embarrassing, and that I am a failure, you know? If my family were to watch this would be the first time that they would find out that I have diabetes. Out of all the darkness that descended upon me with diabetes, diabetes also was like a silver lining, because I got some kind of medication to kind of help me curb my symptoms, I guess, in a way. And to be honest, I think maybe that is what led me to having a surprise pregnancy last year, and as well as a miscarriage. Finally figuring it out that I can actually get pregnant. Coming here to tell my story, it felt like I needed to, because I don't want anybody else to be hit by something like this and think that they're not good enough. This is my way of living with it, and I think I'm kind of done trying to hide things and trying to make up excuses for everybody else. If I were to share my story and the fact that I have diabetes because of PCOS, and if it could help someone out there to be better prepared of what could happen in their future with PCOS, then yeah, man, I'm totally down for that, because nobody told me that this was a possibility, not even my doctors. If I had known all of the, you know, the complications that could lead to me by having PCOS, I would take precautions like, okay, so if you know, I might have diabetes, I might probably start checking my sugar level, you know, once a week, just to make sure that I know what's going on before suddenly it's too late. So I would tell all the girls and all the women out there that if you do have PCOS, you know, understand about it, understand the complications that can come from it, and adjust your lifestyle according to that. Not just that one thing, which is like, you know, maybe your period is not regular. So that's what I would do.